Welcome to my apiary. I'll give you a look at what's in the melter right now. The first thing I notice is this upside down strainer thing. I was having a hard time actually pushing it down from here, and now it's gone way down since then. So this is the puck that I'm left with, and I didn't turn the melter off. I turned it to, I think I turned it to 40 C. Wax melt's about 75 C. So we have a puck here. This is kind of a gross part of the job, but got to do it. So it's just, that's hardly more than 1/4 of an inch thick. So I'm just going to pull this out. Got to kind of get it to tear pieces, and I'm going to throw it in this old canner I've got here. And I started beekeeping. I started by rendering my wax in that canner and carry it to the house, buy the canner load, and warm it on the stove. That's not a good way to stay in good relations with your wife, because that's a really disgusting job and it takes a long time. I nearly set the house on fire once too. I boiled it over and it all caught on fire. But I got that put out, so we can laugh about it now. Okay, so now what we've got is we've got some water, really stinky, disgusting water, and we got a whole bunch of slum gum at the bottom. And so that water hopefully will come out the bottom tap, and then we can dump the water down the sink, and I have to carry the slum gum outside in a pail. Here's what's left over from yesterday. Looks like I got quite a bit. And this is in order of pouring. So you could see that the water was up past the mid tap, mostly for the first one. And then as we went on, we got more and more wax and into the last one. So again, this is reverse order of pouring. This is the last one I poured. So just a little puff there. This is the third one that was poured. This looks like it has a nice color to it. I would expect that the second one I poured would be the thickest. Let's see if my expectations. I would say, well, that is no thicker than the third. There's a lot of gunk on there. I hope I have time to do another melt on this, because that really brings it alive and gets that all cleaned up. And And this first one I poured has very little more than just a skin of wax. That'll just go into the old canner pot. I'm going to tear this canner so that I can just throw all the bits back in it. And that's 4.6 pounds. I'll put these, I don't have to put those. Okay, I'm going to load all this wax on there again. This might be my scale. You know, my scale is only a 150 pound scale. Might have to weigh this in 2 lots. Well, I have to put this on because I've teared the pot. That's 118 pounds even. Zero the scale. That's 36.8. So 154.8 pounds. Okay, now for the really gross and disgusting part. Dumping this ridiculously disgusting water. It's likely got crap in the valve there. I should fix this up while I've got the temperature down. I can drain that jacket down a bit. I don't think it's going to come out. Yeah, it's just gummed with wax. Stole this really long sawzall blade from my shop. Get this kind of thing out. You can use heat. You can use a heat gun. Usually not too much in here. Now this might shoot out on the floor, so I'll have to shut it off again right away. More wax for the canner. Okay. That's just what was in the valve. predicted that, didn't I? That's why you want a honey house that's all nicely washable. Okay. All right. That's nice and clean now. Put that back in. That's disgusting. I'll take the giant strainer out if I can. It's kind of stuck. There's always a little wax in that slum, and now I've let it sit there and stick to the strainer. There we go. You see that disgusting stuff down there? I'm still kind of learning this process, so I don't know if you want to use me as a textbook. So this slum it's kind of the consistency of heavy soil. It's cooler on the top than down below. Now the bottom of this melter is sloped. So at the back, that way, the bottom is higher. There's not as much slum there. But all of that needs to come out into the bucket, be taken outside. This is when it's not advantageous to have this melter on a stand. It'd be nice if it was on the floor, but it's a compromise because I use it as a bottling tank. I need to get my pail under it, and you can see pouring the wax and the water out the bottom. I can use a 5-gallon pail. Just see how much garbage is in that wax. You think your cappings are nice and clean until you melt them. So that comparatively, the cappings, after the honey was drained, we're pretty well full. So you get that kind of a ratio. We've got what, 4 or 5 inches of slum here in the bottom. It's not a job for the squeamish, because you think it looks bad. It smells worse than it looks. I kept pigs when I was a kid, and that's just a bit worse than this. The manure, this has got a unique smell to it. It's something I never smelled before, and it's not a good smell. So that's what water is left in there. Get the slum away from the water, and then I can just drain that. There's a little design flaw in this melter, and I realize that it's more of a decision than a flaw. The bottom of the tap doesn't even sit flush with the bottom of the tank, so therefore it's impossible for all of the liquid to drain, and you know, quite a bit left, as you can see. I would think for the amount of money the guy spends on this kind of thing, they could take a little more care in how they put that. And, you know, make no mistake, I realize that the alternative to do it, you know, quote, correctly, is a lot more work. But this product is nice enough that I think it's worthwhile to go the extra step and remedy that. You wouldn't want to leave this any colder. The wax would set up in this slum much too firmly to be able to do this. So I think if I can remember, like next year, this year I just arbitrarily chose a temperature, you know, below 70, something I thought would be cool enough to work with and warm enough to keep it workable. I think I can go a little higher. And remember, I'll try 50 degrees next year. It takes a long time to cool because it's very well insulated. The tank is insulated outside the jacket, and the lid is insulated. You can't leave the lid on. It'll take a week to cool down if you leave the lid on. Maybe not a week, but it'll take days. Certainly not going to cool down overnight. This is the same melter Ian has, and he's said that to me a few times, that if they forget to take the lid off, they come back to a tank full of liquid wax again, which doesn't serve their purpose. Oh, we're going to maybe get 3, not even 3 pailfuls out of here. Take 3 pails. The pail's just over half full now. I need to scoot it around. Can't reach it. I like cutting up great big brownies that smell really bad. Or if you're baking brownies and they smell like this, you got some things to fix in your brownie recipe. That's not appetizing at all. You know, one guy told me that this stuff burns like crazy. He heats his building with it. Imagine if you dry it out. It's probably got plenty of wax in there. It would burn. Sure, we say, oh, make fire starters. I don't know if it'd be a good fire starter. Even if it would, you don't want your fire starters smelling like that. So I'm going to stop there because I won't get all this in this pail. Okay, so you haven't really seen in here before. So there's not much to see, but there's a few little things I'll explain. As I mentioned, the floor is sloped, and it's sloped by quite a little bit. I don't know, front to back, it might be 4 inches higher at the back. And then there's this tower, so that there's a water jacket below, around, and in this tower, and the heating element is in the back here, behind at the back of it goes in the back of the outer jacket. So that'll cause a convection, and the hot water will go up the back and down this tube, and then the water will go down here. Just convection. There's no pump or anything. And the fact that it's got that center tower makes it very efficient and effective, because you're not just trying to heat the outside to make, you can heat the outside all you want here, but to get your wax and everything in the center all melted and up to temperature, that's the difficult thing. I'm going to try and rinse that without swamping the camera. We'll see how that goes. So the pail is under the spout. Just rinse whatever will come off. It isn't going to be a lot, but it will be some of that. I think I've clogged that actually. Okay, while I've got this relatively cooled down, I've got the power switch off. I'm going to drain this jacket down sufficient enough I can take this fitting out and fix this crazy system that they have here. I believe that is far enough. This is the repair job. So I need to put a nipple in here. And then there's an elbow. Yeah, there's an elbow. I put this together already. See, I have to have a coupler because they both have to go together and swing together before they're connected. I don't know. I'm no pipe fitter. It just seems to me that's the way it needs to happen. That's what the original had. And I don't even know how tight I can make these. When I took it apart, this one broke off. So, how tight do they go? And that's not even going to quite meet. I approximated how big that needed to be, and I was wrong. It appears. And if I try to pull those together, it'll break something. So that's not even going to work. All right. Okay, so all that so that my inlet is higher than the outlet here. Okay, now I've got an air release. Here it comes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill the melter about an inch below this, maybe not quite an inch, half an inch, 3/4 below this mid tap. And then I'm going to hit the heat to it again, get her back up to probably 90 C, and I'm going to put my wax bricks back in here. So what that'll do differently than what I've just done is, first of all, there's a whole lot less junk in this melter now. It's pretty clean. But also it will allow me to know that the water level is here. And then what will happen is when I tap that off, I can tap it off tomorrow. That will be tapping off just about as clean a wax as you can get without straining or filtering and straining. It's going to be very, very clean wax. So that's what I'm going to do now. And this takes a long time to fill this thing with water. Okay, finished pouring water in here. And you can see it's just below that mid tap. Got the melter jacket turned on. It's now heating. It will heat until 90 degrees. And I'm going to put all the rest of my wax in here, back in for a second melt. With all of that messy stuff from the old canner pot. So that raised the water level to about there. looking at 5 inches. Plus there's wax not in the water, so that'll come up even more yet once it melts. And so now I need to put the lid on.